Hello family, it is a pleasure to be with you again, and this time bringing you a new video that is very interesting. Today I show you a low maintenance hair color. This one is called Money Piece. It is a low maintenance anti-dukan, and as I told you before, since the touch up can be done after 4 or 6 months if you wish. And the cool thing is that it is a technique that will make you shine at all times. In this video, I give you the step-by-step to achieve a cute fish that will frame the silhouette of your face. This is Euridia, today's model. We are going to do a pre-cut since we are going to do a radical makeover that I know you are going to love. Grande score. So we're going to cut a little bit along the length. Notice that Euridia has about 10 centimeters of natural growth and the rest of her hair is dyed red, a fantasy red. Extracting this type of tones, believe me, is even more difficult than doing it in a black tone. For now, this girl wants to make a money pretty. She wants lighting on her face since we are going to darken the rest of her hair to a brown level. Look at the section that I am going to make this my piece. The formula that I am going to use to start this procedure will be 4 caps of decorating powder plus 200 gram of 20 volume peroxide plus half of an intensive therapy vialer for brittle hair. We are going to start with the bangs, making an extremely thin straight section, and we are going to apply the growth product to daeshe ul jokse kanzans. It is very important that when you go to use the bleach, and even more so when there is red dyed hair, you do so with very thin sections to obtain better lightening. Here I am applying the growth bleach to the ends because, believe me, red tones are very difficult to eliminate, and even more so when they are fantasy red tones. As you progress and when you begin to review, you will realize how in natural growth the lightening occurs without any problem, and where the concentration of the red tone is, it takes on a completely different tone. Notice that I continue making very thin sections and applying the growth bleach to the ends. When you are going to perform this type of effects, it is very important that you make the section and work on it, because there are people who work without sectioning the hair, and that is when there is no clean work and aesthetic work. Whatever work you are going to do, it is important that you make sections so that when you comb your hair or show off the effect, it looks very beautiful. In this way, we are going to work this entire side by applying the growth bleach to the ends. Once this side is finished, we move on to the next one and work on it in the same. Once we have finished wallpapering the Mai, we are going to give it a time with heat of 15 minutes. After that time, we will review package by package. I want you to observe how the clarification is being given. Where the hair is natural, the lightening occurred without any problems. The rest of the hair shows a pale red Zurzespa. Altis, that's what happens when there are red colorations or fantasy tones. Fantasy tones are very difficult to remove, and you will realize at the end of the discoloration that a red reflection still predominates. Maybe not as intense as the model has at the moment, but that red reflection is still predominant. I recommend that when you are going to perform an extraction of these tones, you do not try to completely eliminate this reflection, because there comes a time when it no longer brightens. They have to wait a month, 2 months to continue with the extraction. But if this color ended up in one tone, a light red, you can neutralize that tone by applying a tone, as we will see later, and you no longer continue to over process the hair, which is the most important thing. Here it will be reviewed package by package, and the product will be applied again to activate the bleach, and it will continue to lighten. Once all the packages have been reviewed, we will give a 20-minute heat pause time, minute time. If you don't use the heat activator, you can leave it for 30 to 35 natural minutes. Once all the packages have been reviewed, we are going to apply the dye to the rest of the hair. Remember that I told you that my model wants a radical change? Pasas bien. She wants shorter hair. She wants a darker tone in the rest of her hair to let it rest de que recamasina apply recamasina wari so often. We are going to make a formula with 90 milliliters of 10 volume peroxide plus 15 grams of shade 512 plus 15 grams of tone for natural teca celia. We mix this formula perfectly well, and we are going to start the application first on the entire growth of the my piece, and then we are going to move on to the rest of the hair. We are going to apply this growth tone to the ends as mad. Remember that we want to neutralize the intensity of the red tone. That's why I'm applying 5.2 when Atuja for natural. And with this, we are going to counteract the intensity of the red a little. It is important that when you are applying a dye that you want to neutralize, or any dye, it is important that it saturates perfectly well, and even more so when you want to hide a certain tone, as is the case with my model, which is such an intense red tone. You have to apply enough product. There are people who skimp on the product a lot and obtain uneven lightening or coloring. There are parts that look lighter, others that look darker, and that is because many times they do not apply correctly. They do not apply enough tompra kabakay. Once all the dye has been applied, we give a pause in time of 20 natural 10 sileki. Do you want to learn how to cut hair? Do different coloring techniques such as balayage, normal highlights, universal highlights, and many more techniques. I want to tell you that I made this channel thinking of you, so I invite you to subscribe and ring the bell to activate notifications and not miss a single video. After that time, we took the model to praise. I want you to see how the clarification is. Osmose, where the hair is natural, we have a perfect lightening, and where the hair was dyed red, notice we are still left with a very diluted red reflection. At this moment, it looks like a pale pink. It no longer has the intensity, but we can no longer clarify it. If I continue lightening, the only thing I'm going to achieve is overprocess the hair. It is very important that they know when to stop, not because the client wants a super blonde tone, because they all want it. When it comes with red dye, they usually want it to be an ash tone the first time. That is definitely not possible. You have to go step by step and give your hair time to recover, because if you continue bleaching, believe me, you will end up with hair on your hand. At this moment, we are no longer going to continue bleaching. We are going to stop the bleaching. And what are we going to do? We are going to neutralize that pink tone that was left on our tips with the nuance that we will see soon. For now, Lupita is going to remove all the bleach to stop the lightening. Notice that my model's hair is completely resistant. For me, it is very important to take care of the hair strand. The Rani, this hair does not break, it is not damaged, but I know that if I continue bleaching, there may come a time when it can break. I prefer to stop and do a nice job with my hair in good condition. Once all the bleach has been removed, the decorated hair is moved to one side and the dye begins to be removed from the dyed hair. It is important that they do not stain hair that is bleached. We must remove the dye with plenty of water so that it does not stain our decorated hair. Notice how the girls are holding their hair and trying not to stain the decorated hair. You can do a beautiful, very pretty fade, but if you don't remove the dye the right way, you can stain your bleach look. It is very important when you go to wash your hair, do it the right way so that you do not get stained hair, because as I told you, they can have a very beautiful discoloration. They can stain it with a dark dye. Notice how the clarification is. Note that the elasticity of the hair is very, very good, but because the hair could continue to withstand more bleaching, I was not going to continue. Once the dye has been removed, it is time to shampoo with a deep cleaning extrinsic bath. This shampoo will help us eliminate all bleach residue and eliminate color saturation a little. Now it's time to outline the cut. Remember that my model wants a completely different look, and that is why we are going to cut the hair slightly concave, Elia. The truth is that the final result of this girl is surprising. Notice how the color looks. We have not yet applied the shade to correct the tone from the mid-lengths to the ends. This cut is very pretty. It's super trending right now. Concave hair gives a very feminine touch to those who wear it. They also have a lot of movement. I highly recommend it. To tone the mime, I'm gonna start with the pre-pigmentation, and I'm going to use 15 milliliters of water plus 7.5 of tone 5.4. I'm going to apply this on the gold part, and I'm going to sweep it lightly to the ends. Remember that here it is very important not to saturate, just give a light varnish because the nuance will immediately appear. Nuance formula, I am going to use 75 milliliters of 10 volume oxidant plus 15 gram of tone 7.12 plus 7.5 of tone 6.1. Is we are going to mix it perfectly well and apply it on top of the pre-pigmentation. Remember that the pre-pigmentation was a light varnishing. Now, when applying the shade, here we saturate perfectly well so that there is better absorption. If you apply the tone on a base like the one we had, that you apply the golden growth and the ends with a pinkish tone directly, you will obtain a color of a different camisegena. Here at the time of pre-pigmentation, what are we doing? We are matching the base to apply the tint and obtain a more even color axtat. We may possibly have a slight reflection from the mid-length to the ends, but it will be minimal and will not be visually perceived. We give a pose time of 10 natural minutes. After that time, we take the model to the bath and remove the color with the retention bath. Remember that it is extremely important to apply the appropriate products for greater durability of the color. Immediately afterwards, we seal the color with Jen Kieranville's firm color mask. I want you to notice what the tone of my looks like. To give the final finish, we are going to use hydrated Yenbir More Smooth. This hydrating serum will help us maintain a perfect smoothness free of free. This money piece definitely turned out very pretty, and you can see the difference in tone from the mid lengths to the ends with growth. This is the final result. The truth is that I loved it. This girl went from having fiery red hair to having natural brown, but with a tone that will bring a lot of light to her face. You can style it in different ways, and in each of them it will look with a different effect. You already have all the technique to do it, so I invite you to practice and practice until you master the technique. Thank you, family, for joining me in this tutorial. Remember that your comments are very important to me because they are the basis of my following videos. I send you a big hug and many blessings, and see you next time.